Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Quick look here again at Ethereum. We're going to double check some key factors here with liquidation and jump right into the charts. If you're new to the channel, I ask you just go ahead and hit the like button, comment below. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the site. I've got a trading academy, community, and signals group. So let's take a look here at the liquidation here for the most last recent 7 days worth of liquidation. And we can see there's a lot of shorts upwards about 4,200. Okay, so 4,200 is that resistance level. And I say that because not because there's liquidation here, but because most of the time you'll see liquidation close to resistance levels. And that's going to be really close to the more recent high. In other words, if you take a look here at this price action, 4,100, that's the most recent high in which the price action got rejected back on March 11th. Okay, so we're right back up to that level here again. Solid chance we're going to see a liquidity sweep of that range. We're still honoring this ascending trend line as well. Last thing I want to note too here as well, let's go ahead and verify this, because if I recall correctly, looking back at this from 1 month ago, there's a lot of liquidation down as low as, it's still there, 3,000 as low as 2,800. Okay, so that's more recent, of course. That was literally just like a week ago. Okay, so price action took off. Again, the Ethereum, ETH, all that stuff kind of catapulted things up. And if you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I like to, I'm a big time spot holder of Bitcoin, but Ethereum does have a good, 10, 15% of my portfolio too. So it's nice to see this kind of growing here. And there's decent potential that we're going to see the price action continue further up just based on, some fundamentals, but also the technical looks pretty good here too. So we'll talk about that. So just to quickly note the current situation here, liquidation at about 4,100 to 4,200. So just know there's a lot of liquidation here that incentivizes the price to move up further, faster. Okay, so get that into your head that there's a strong chance we're going to see something along those lines. Another thing we got to wrap your head around rather is this amount of volume. You see that is a tremendous amount. It's going to take a lot of selling pressure to push through that support. Okay, and again, that support level is basically right here at this range where the price action kind of rejected out at that 0.786 fib level for a few days and inevitably broke free from it. Okay, so again, looking pretty solid here on the daily time frame in that regard. Now, looking at the moving averages, they're all below the price action. That's always considered to be favorable. And we can see we are now up over 70 in the RSI, which, if you're not familiar with this, I like to work with breakout type of patterns. And generally speaking, when you're over 70 in the RSI, specifically on the daily, it takes literally somewhere in the range of 1 to 2 weeks to come back down. Now, if you look at this previous example, it went from February 12th upwards of March 14th. That was literally a 1 month time frame where the price action was above that level. That's when Ethereum just did not look back. Okay, again, the market was in a different position then, but of course, that's the general consensus is that when you're up over 70 on the RSI, it's very, very common for the price action to stay above that level for quite a while. Now, you got to recognize too, and you look at 70 on the RSI here from before, it came down on March 14th, and the price had already pulled back a pretty significant margin. So you don't just camp out above 70 on the RSI, but you got to recognize it's just a bullish trend that's more likely to continue. Okay? Again, you're broken through a key level resistance. If we get through this $4,100 mark, the price will probably continue much further up. In fact, I'm kind of curious here. If we take a look at, see here, let's look at this here really quick, the 3-month time frame. We can recognize that there is a situation, it's pretty big. Okay, we look a lot further back, there's a ton of liquidation at about 4,200. Okay, so big numbers there, awesome stuff in that regard. It's definitely looking pretty good. Okay, so again, Ethereum is looking like it wants to retest that 41 to 4,200 mark. So let's go ahead and double check the 4-hour time frame and tell us, see if this can tell us anything here. Now, I'm going to adjust this trend line here because I think it's probably best we go on a larger time frame. I drew this trend line out on the hourly a moment ago, but I think this looks a little bit better here with the 4-hour time frame because then you get a better perspective on larger time frames. And if you use the stronger this trend line is reflected to the time frame. Okay, so we're probably going to see a lot more support in this regard. What I'm getting at is we're honoring the ascending trend line, just running concurrent in ways with the 20-day SMA. So as long as we stay above the 20-day SMA, that's like the initial trend setter. So to me personally, I'm going to be paying attention to see if what happens with the price action when it drops below the 20, and consider the possibility of either securing profits or quite possibly even a short. I don't even want to suggest that. Don't want you to get that in your head, but that is possibly something you want to look at. Now, if we take a look here, of course, at 70 on the RSI and the 4-hour, this is telling us we're coming up against a resistance level. Okay. Generally, when you see that, the price action will pull back, which it has a little bit, but it's also breaking this most recent high. Okay? So when you break above a most recent high, a solid chance that's going to be a new low. Okay? So to me personally, being above a trend line here and having broken through the most recent high, that leads me to believe we should see some type of continuation. Now, is it going to be monumental? maybe. Again, that's more of a fundamental thing you want to pay attention to. From a technical standpoint, I think 4,100 to 4,200 is a very sensible area of liquidation that's going to be swept, and then the price may pull back from there. Okay? It's really, really common for that to occur. We can see the MACDs converging here. We have a lot of reasons why a long position makes a lot more sense than taking a short right now. Now, again, it does feel like we're nearing the top, right? But once more, we got a lot of liquidation above the price action. It would just seem more sensible for the price to go up than down. And again, trading into a fundamental catalyst like this, as well as this high amount of volume that we're seeing, is not a good idea, okay? So when there's a lot of money introduced, it implies there's a lot of support. Look at this most recent time frame here. We got our most recent point of control. So in the last, what is it, since the 20th, roughly 1 week worth of trading, we can see 3,800 is that point of control. And so the price does end up pulling back. That would be a decent pivot point, and the price continuing further up from there. So me personally, if I was to consider a long position, I would say somewhere in the range of the current range and or this guy here. And if you do take a look at percentage from there to there, it's about 4%. Hypothetically, the price does pull back, 3,800 would be a solid consideration. Again, we would have lost our descending or our ascending trend line by then. We want to kind of reevaluate if we get there. But the general consensus here is if you're trying to add to your spot bag, I get that question a lot. 3,800 is that most recent point of control. Strong likelihood the price doesn't go much further below that level. That should be the new support. And again, with all this liquidation to the upside, it makes a tremendous amount of sense the price continue further up than it does continuing lower. In fact, if we do look at this, and again, this is the last 3 months worth of liquidation, 4,500, there's even liquidation up as high as 4,500. So me personally, I think an Ethereum long makes a lot more sense than a short. I would be careful considering a short position just in general right now with the market. And if you were to consider anything, wait longer for a long position than to try to short to that. In other words, some people try to find short opportunities on the way down, which is fine. If you watch it close, it's okay. But we're not really in a market right now that shorts are strong returns, especially with Ethereum. I know we've seen some wicks down here, of course, but it's minor in comparison to how much harder and stronger it is moving upwards. Okay. Anyways, we're just trying to leave this conversation here with you with the understanding that Ethereum is more likely to go up than down. I guess that's the general consensus. Anyways, I hope you learned something here today. Comment below if you haven't already. Like, subscribe, and follow. Join us on Twitter, Telegram, Discord. I've even got a TikTok here as well, and YouTube Shorts coming. So again, it's a lot of fun. Thanks again so much for the wonderful feedback. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. And if you are now tuning in as well, make sure you check out BitUnix, link down below. Awesome exchange. Absolutely love working with them. They've been great to us. No KYC or VPN required. We'll see you all in the next one. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Thanks again so much.